Elevation Nation. What's up? Parker. Happy Fortitude 15 Thursday. How you doing, man? Great to see your smiling face. Post-bridal shower for your gorgeous fiance, Jessica. She looked great. You looked pretty good yourself. Looked like a lovely time. Mazel
Are you
tov.
hitting on my fiance?
Yeah.
Okay, well, she's locked up with me, just saying. So, sorry. It was fun. It was good. We're fortituding, as always. That's a good shirt, Sam. Fortituding, period. Boom. We're going to coin that right there, Elevation Nation. But yeah, things are good. It's good to be back. We're rocking and rolling. And Sam, we are getting really, really close to episode 300. Isn't that pretty crazy to think about?
Wild.
Like,
absolutely wild. A lot of time.
That's pretty
A lot of effort.
crazy.
We've been grinding, man. We've been grinding.
This is 295. 5 more.
5 more. I think we can do it. We're getting close.
What if we just like
We got a good
stopped
topic.
like 299? We just say, you know what? We're hanging the cleats up.
Probably be pretty mad at you.
Yeah, that would be pretty crappy.
So let's not do that.
I've always thought about this before we get into the topic for the day. I was like, when is the day where you say like, all right, we're stopping?
I don't know, man.
It's pretty crazy
I
to think
guess-
about. Like, I've thought about that. Like, even people beyond like our show. Like, we've done this show for 4 years. Think about people who have done their. You could apply this to any parts of life, I guess, too. Right?
It's crazy. It's truly wild. I hope we keep going. I'm loving it. We got a lot of momentum with the podcast, with some other ventures that we're working on with Elevation Nation, with some exciting in-person events. We just got a lot of good momentum going on. And you're getting married, so I'm looking forward to that. But we got an interesting topic for today. I'm getting a little bit vulnerable today on something that's been bothering me. So I'm excited to share it with Elevation Nation. I have had an interesting health problem the past 3 or 4 months that if you look at any of our TikToks or you watch this on YouTube, you may have noticed that I have 2 giant holes in my beard. I'm going to show it for the camera, folks on YouTube. Crazy. Giant holes in my beard. Started out small. Parker, when we spoke in Philadelphia, they were very, very tiny, very faint. And I thought it was just like maybe an ingrown hair or a blonde hair that was coming in. So I just shaved it down and then let it grow back. Kept getting worse and worse and worse. Went to the doctor. Got diagnosed with alopecia barba, which is alopecia of my beard. And what alopecia does, for people not familiar, it's typically on your head. Knock on wood, that does not happen to me. But it's kind of like small quarter-sized patches of hair that essentially just stop growing, those hair follicles. So I've been battling that for a little while. Obviously, like, no real health risk. I'm not going to pretend like it's really that big of a deal, but it's made me a little bit self-conscious the past few months because I love my beard and it looks stupid because I have giant holes in it. Yeah, and so went to the doctor, tried to figure out what was going on, and they said, interestingly enough, that it is stress-induced typically.
They said typically, though. They didn't know for sure.
Yeah, they don't know for sure. I mean, obviously, lots of different things could cause it in your immune system, but the most prevalent is stress. And I thought back to when I started seeing symptoms, and it was in the thick of a really, really tough situation for me at work. And it's crazy, right? Everyone always says, don't get stressed. Don't get anxious. It's not worth it. It could impact your health. This literally impacted my health. The stress that I felt in my day-to-day job, the anxiety that I felt from my work in a situation that was pretty rough for me led to me having these holes in my beard. And so, yeah, I wanted to take this episode to address it in case anyone paid attention and was like, what the hell is going on with Sam's face? But more importantly, to chat a little bit about some of the stress at work and how that can impact you. So yeah, that's kind of my story, Parker. Open to your thoughts, and then I can dive into it a little bit more.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised that you have not shaved the beard. And I'm really curious why. I have my hypothesis. One, you love your beard, and it has
true.
become who you are. And two, you're not going to let this diagnosis make Sam Panitch who Sam Panitch is.
I wish it was that meta and deep. To be honest, the patches have white hair. You can kind of see it in the light, maybe a little bit, but it's regrowing now, and it's like blonde white hair. And I'm nervous that if I fully like shave it off, that all those are going to go away. So that's one. And then two,
well, they would 100% go away because you shave them off.
True. But I have really dark facial hair, right? So even when I shave down, I still can kind of see, just like you, Parker, you can see dark hair. Because these patches are blonde, when I shave it down, you can still tell that there's weird like pigmentation issues going on in these two spots. So would it look a little bit better? Sure. But it still looks strange, and I'm like, whatever, fuck it. I'm just gonna ride the wave. So yeah, that's my reason. Not as meta as you probably hoped.
I mean, I was saying, like, for me, I only shave my face when I need like a reset. It's always very meta for me. It's not like, oh, I need to shave my face because someone told me to. It's like I look myself in the mirror. I'm like, you know what? It's time for a new me. And I'll shave my face, and then I'll feel refreshed. And I'm surprised that you haven't done that yet. Maybe you'll kickstart something.
Well, I did. I did over Thanksgiving, and I looked like a fat baby.
That's okay.
So I decided I'm good. I don't really
what are you
going to
do for the wedding if it does not clear up? Should I tell the photographer that we have to photo?
It's not my wedding. I don't give a shit.
We'll have to Photoshop Sam's face so that he has a full beard.
I mean, I'm down if you want to pay the money to have my face photoshopped and edited.
Kind of paid at that point. We could just say,
fine,
Sam,
I love it.
His beard needs a full beard, not two patches.
Perfect. Sounds like you already have a plan for me, which I appreciate.
Yeah, just, if you're like on, the wall of my, office one day, or maybe should I I'll just do this. Sam was really stressed at this point in his life. This is my indicator.
Yeah. Listen, your wedding, I'll leave it up to you. I'm owning it. Obviously, it makes me a little self-conscious. But fuck it. It is what it is. Life goes on. I'm just thankful I'm happy and healthy.
So do you actually think that you're stressed? Like, let's talk about the root of this issue right now, because sometimes I think about this and I get canker sores when I'm stressed. That's what canker sores come up from, I guess, stress. And so I think in my head, like, am I stressed? And oftentimes I think, wait, I don't feel stressed, but is my body stressed? And that's not aligned with how I'm thinking. It's really interesting thought. Like, sometimes, what if the stress becomes so normal that you don't even feel stressed because it's so normal, but yet your body is reacting to that stress?
Yeah, I mean, I think that certainly is part of it. With this, though, I think it was just delayed, right? I was extremely stressed for about 6 to 9 months, about half a year ago. And the symptoms just started slow and ended up really getting prevalent when I wasn't stressed. Right now, I'm not stressed. Life's great. I'm chilling. Life's good. Things are moving and shaking. Elevation Nation's great. Works great. But at the time, it wasn't when these symptoms first started happening, and now they kind of just have reached their peak in the last month or so. So it's interesting. Body has sometimes instant reactions like your canker sores, or delayed like mine. But regardless, I think we got to listen to our bodies and try our best to not let things like work that really are not more important than your health impact your health. And that's the lesson I learned. I'm going to try my best to be less stressed when I inevitably have tough work situations, because my health is way more important than that.
My one tip that I always remind myself, and I encourage you, Sam, and Elevation Nation, when it comes to stress, is like, stress is managed in the models that you create in your life. And so I think the routines that you have that you know are familiar, that are good for you, the way you're eating, are you sleeping well? Like, what do those models look like, and do the models need to be shifted back to what you know is good for your body? For example, if you know you're not getting a lot of sleep because you're traveling a lot, I felt this many times, Sam, my stress is coming because I'm not getting sleep. But then I think back, oh, I'm not getting a lot of sleep because I'm going to a new bed every freaking day and maybe traveling too much. And as a result of that, I need to shift my model back to what I know is best. Sleep in my own bed, which then helps me get a lot of sleep. And then as a result, I'm feeling less stress. And so it's different for everyone, but I just think it's a good reminder that think about the models in your life and where those are at. Okay. Let's go to another section. We're always trying to elevate Fortitude in 15 in different ways. So, Sam, let's start it off. How are you elevating this week? Or what has been something that has elevated you this week?
It's a great question. Early in the week for me, one of the things that elevated me was just getting outside. Weather is still a little bit cold. It got back to being chilly in DC, but it's been really sunny and beautiful. So I've made an effort every single day. Working from home is tough. I got to get outside, walk around, at least walk around the block. That's elevated me in my mood and helped me decrease my stress.
Awesome. For me, I watched a movie recommended by my dad on Netflix, which was really interesting, called My All-American. I don't know if you've ever watched it. I highly recommend it. It was a story of mental fortitude, a story of pure grit and determination, as well as just what it means to be a good teammate. It's about Freddie Steinmark, who played college football at the University of Texas, although he was always deemed to be smaller than the typical athlete that University of Texas football looks at. This was in the 60s. He ended up making the team, and the story is quite incredible. I'm not going to ruin it, but certainly a story of mental fortitude, and you can find it on Netflix. I will say the movie is a bit corny, but yet it has a great story to it. So if you have an hour and a half on your hands and want a little elevation, check it out, My All-American. All right, Sam, before we wrap up, what has been de-elevating you this week?
That's an interesting question. I think I'm in this weird place in between projects at work. So I'm trying to figure out how to be as fulfilled as I normally am, right? I love being productive. I love being busy all day. And it's been a little bit slower than normal, which is a great gift. And I have to remind myself that, but has made me feel maybe a little bit less fulfilled and productive than I normally am. So that's de-elevating me this week. What about you?
Did you have a question? Sorry, I paused for a second.
Yeah, I did. I said,
okay,
what about you?
I figured you were throwing it back. De-elevating me this week. Okay, so I'm reading this book, Read, Write, Own by Chris Dixon, the book on the future of the internet. And so with that, obviously, I'm getting back in my crypto enthusiast phase, and I've been following a lot of crypto accounts on Twitter, and now my whole Twitter feed are crypto bros and just everything crypto, and it's almost too much at this point. And so I really do enjoy Twitter because I read a lot of news on it. I follow a lot of things on it. I learn a lot on there, but now what's de-elevating me is that my experience is fully just crypto bro, and I don't know what I should take with a grain of salt or what I should actually take of value. So it's really challenging to filter what's good and what's bad. And I'm sure other people feel this way on all the apps too. It's just filtering. Because it takes an extra piece of effort as you read through all that. Because you don't want to be like a slug and just be like, yep, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And when in reality, what is the truth? We don't necessarily always know.
Yeah.
So just got to be careful out there.
Fair. I get it. All right, elevator shout outs. I want to give a shout out to elevators 84 and 85. We got Xander Chase, Ryan Lane of FTL Bags. You may have seen their post. They were able to get their product into the hands of NBA All-Star and friend of the podcast, Jalen Brunson, point guard for the New York Knicks. They got him a custom FTL bag with Villanova, Knicks, Dallas Mavericks, and even my alma mater, Stevenson High School, on it. Shout out to Xander and Ryan. They've been crushing it. I even used the FTL bag this weekend, and it's just an incredible product. So shout out to those boys. We're proud of you. Keep on elevating.
Okay, real quick, my elevator shout out is for elevator 125. I believe Sarah Fitzgerald just moved to New York City. Obviously an incredible place to continue to elevate her comedic career as a stand-up comedian. I'm super excited for her, and it will be really fun when I get an invite to see her live in some cool little like basement stand-up comedy place. Because this is the place where I feel like if you want to follow your dreams in comedy, there's no better place to be.
Love it. Elevation Nation. Until next week. Peace.